So you guys have done one-step molar mass conversions. Now we're going to do a mass-to-mass conversion, which means we are changing compounds. So far you guys have only practiced it within one compound, converting grams to moles or moles to grams. Now we're going to actually switch compounds. So there's sort of a new little path we're going to take. This question asks how many grams of potassium chloride, so that's this one here, potassium chloride, are produced if 25 grams of potassium chlorate, so that's this one, decompose. So I'm actually going to just rewrite this formula because I'm going to write underneath it to help me sort of develop my path. So I'm starting off with 25 grams of potassium chlorate. I'm going to write that here since I know that that's what I'm given. I need to first convert that to moles of potassium chlorate. Then I'm going to convert that to moles of potassium chloride, and then I'm going to convert that to grams of potassium chloride. So that's the path I'm going to take. When we go from grams to moles, either of those, we are going to use molar mass. So that's the same thing as formula mass. We did that previously. You did it on the formula mass worksheet. You also did it again on the molar mass worksheet, and then you did it again on percent composition. So now we're doing it again a fourth time, calculating molar mass. So hopefully those two steps are super easy and they're just review. This is the new part, going from moles to moles. And what we're going to do is we're going to use the ratio of the coefficients. That comes from your balanced chemical equation. And so what we're looking at on the balanced chemical equation is the coefficients of the two compounds. So I'm going to walk through this problem and I'll show you sort of where to get all that information. So I'm going to start with my given, 25 grams of KClO3. I'm going to draw my chart. So remember, this line means divide and this line means multiply. What I'm going to divide by is always going to be what I need to cancel. So grams of potassium chlorate go on the bottom and moles of potassium chlorate go on the top. When you're doing molar mass, mole always gets the 1, and then gram is the mass that we add up from the periodic table. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. So I'm just going to do it in this blank spot on the periodic table. Potassium is 39, not 3.9. It's 39.0983. Chlorine is 35.451. And then oxygen is 15.999 times 3. Because I have 3 of them, and then the 15.999 came from the periodic table. And so that gives me 47.997. So I'm going to go ahead and add all 3 of those up, and I get 122.546. So that's what goes here, 122.546. So I'm not done. Right now, my grams of potassium chlorate and grams of potassium chlorate have been canceled. So I did this step, and now I'm here at moles of potassium chlorate, and now I need to go to moles of potassium chloride. So I'm just following this path that I made up. So moles of potassium chlorate go on the bottom, moles of potassium chloride go on the top. And this is where I use my ratio, right, when I'm doing that conversion. So the ratio comes from my balanced chemical equation. How many moles of, let's see, KCl do I have? So right here, how many moles? I have 2. My coefficient is 2. And then from here, my balanced chemical equation, again, I have 2 moles of potassium chlorate, so this is also 2. So even though it sounds crazy, like ratio, coefficients, right, it's really just taking the coefficients from your balanced chemical equation and you're just transferring it over to your math, your setup. So now I've gone from moles of here to moles of KCl. So now my last step is this grams of KCl step. I need to convert to grams of KCl. So again, what goes on the bottom? The moles of KCl, and I'm going to switch to grams of KCl. And again, I'm just going to show you these cancel. Why do they cancel? Because they're the same on the top of the bottom. Moles of KCl cancel with moles of KCl down there. So we're just changing our grams of potassium chloride all the way through all these steps to get to grams of potassium chloride. Remember in molar mass, so our very last step here, the mole always gets the 1, and then the grams always gets the number from the periodic table. So potassium is 39.0983, chlorine is 35.451. I'm going to add those two together, and I get 74.549. So that's the number that's going to go here, 74.549. So now I'm going to put all of that into my calculator. So again, if we go below the line, we're hitting divide. If we go across on the top, we're hitting multiply. So in my calculator, I'm going to start right here, and I'm going to say 25, and I'm going to say times 1, and then I'm going to go down and say divided by 122.546, and then I'm back up on top again, so times 2, and then I'm on the bottom again, so divided by 2, and then I'm back on the top again, so times 74.549, and I'm not going to do the divided by 1, it doesn't make a difference, right? So I put all of that into my calculator, and it actually equals 15.2083 grams of KCl. With proper sig figs, I was given 2 sig figs in my answer, or in my question, so that means I should have 2 sig figs in my answer, so 1 sig fig, 2 sig fig. Grams, 15 grams of KCl is my answer. So I did give you guys the answers on this worksheet so that you could check your answers. You need to show me the work. You don't have to do this step here. This is really just for your benefit. I think it really helps to rewrite the equation, to write down your path. The path is going to be the same every time. You're always going grams to grams. You might go grams from a product to a reactant. So it might be going the other way, but that's okay. It's going to be the same every time. And that path, if you notice, it's actually the same path of what's on top of your little math chart here. So the 25 grams of molar mass, we started with 25 grams. The moles of KClO3, moles of KClO3. Then we went to moles of KCl, and then grams of KCl, grams of KCl. So our path is actually the top of our chart. So you could, once you write your path, you could write down the entire top, and then what goes on the bottom is just what needs to cancel. So whichever way you decide to do that, you can do it. I would like you guys to follow these exact same steps, so you might have to watch this video more than once. Follow these exact same steps, do the rest of them. If you need me to do any more examples, please let me know.